It is that time again, and we're going to color our hair because, look at this, I am going to color my hair because I have tons of gray, and you can see how far my actual hair has grown out. It has grown out a lot. We're going to try a new color. It's called Garnier Olia. It says oil-powered permanent color with no ammonia. I'm up to 3 times more shine, vegan formula. So I'm actually really intrigued because look, even if I'm this dark, I should be this dark. And for you guys watching and want to argue every time I do these videos, look, I get that this might not turn out like that because it has color in it, but it should because it's a lot lighter than that, right? But my roots are virgin roots. They have no color on them. So it should go from this to this. Even if the color didn't penetrate here, it should penetrate there. That is what I'm saying. So for you guys that are constantly arguing about that you have color in your hair, my roots are virgin. So we're going to try it right now. I want you to see how much gray I have. I actually have tons of gray. Tons of gray. You can see that, right? Look. This side, maybe not as much, but it's still there, right? Yeah, I just have it all over. All over. I am actually a very resistant gray, meaning that when I color my hair, a lot of times it does not cover my grays. So I know that this hair color is not this hair color. I'm still going to do what's called a touch-up root application because I'm going to put it on my roots to really lift, and then I'm going to pull it through. Set a timer for 25 minutes after you've applied it to the roots. After the 25 minutes, use the remaining amount of color to saturate through the ends. I did buy 2 colors because I know I have a lot of hair, and I'm actually going to saturate the rest of the hair very, very well. So let's see. It should just be like a cream, and it is just a cream. So a lot of times the peroxide, you can see, is on the tip. It didn't mix with the color because it's just, that's how the peroxide gets stuck in it when they move it and stuff. So what I want you to do is kind of just take that peroxide out and mix it with the color on your hand at first, just so you don't put peroxide directly on your scalp. Just gonna do that. Kind of go in there like this. All right, let's start. I like the consistency of it. I will say that. You can see it's not running. Then go around the ear and the back of the ear and the neck. Okay, then you're going to go right down the middle and up on the sides behind the ear. Go straight up. These are the most important sections that people see when you move your hair around. So please just do those sections first and then put it in however you put it in. Because you have to think, when you part your hair, what do you see? You see your scalp in the middle. When you move it forward, what do you see? You see that part on the sides. All right, let's get into it. Here we go. I'm just going to do line after line that are close together all the way back, since I do not have hands in the back of my head. Now I'm going to reapply on this line, on the hairline. Just make sure we get all those grays because that's where everybody sees our gray. But look, the consistency is really nice. Nice and creamy and it's smooth. I'm going to take my detangle brush. I'm going to pull it through to make sure that I covered all the root area that was virgin. Just to make sure that it's nice and distributed evenly. You can see it's a great idea if you have really thick, strong hair. If you have thin hair, please do not do this because your hair becomes like fragile, brittle, in the middle of the coloring process because you're chemically treating it. All right, 25 minutes. We're gonna do the timer right now. I take that back. I'm actually gonna do 20 minutes and then the last 10 minutes for everything because this is so faded. I have 13 more minutes left. Look at this, guys. Like, isn't this crazy? Look at that color. It looks like I'm putting orange in my hair, doesn't it? And look, even though it's like this pastel, almost peach, it turns super orange on the hair. One tip that a lot of people don't tell you is that the color cannot dry. So if your hair is super porous and it sucks up this color, you need to keep it wet. And I noticed that my hair was drying a little bit, so I put a little bit extra at the roots. Because if it dries, it stops working, as any color does. New bottle. So remember, I bought 2 boxes. This is the second one. I already mixed it. It's been 20 minutes. Let's go ahead and just pull it all the way through. It's better if you can do smaller sections and then comb it through. Okay, I was actually able to move to my restroom since my daughter was taking up my restroom. You can see what the color looks like. It's made a mess all over me. So it's already time to shampoo and condition this. When you have really bold colors like this in your hair, only shampoo once and condition once or twice, because you don't really want to strip that hair color out. And if you can shampoo with like the coolest water you can, even if you can do cold, that would be better because it's going to shrink that cuticle. It's going to lock in that color. That's why they never wash your hair in hot water. So I'm going to wash it. We're going to see what it looks like. Oh, and never take off your gloves, because when you wash your hair, regardless of the color, it will stain your nails. Okay, I am out of the shower. I want to say that typically I don't pull the hair color all the way through without like spraying a little mist on my hair, making my hair a little bit damp. But because the color, it had so much color, I was like, oh, I have enough to pull it all the way through to the ends. Well, my ends kind of feel a little bit more dry than normal, so I'm going to dry it tomorrow. I'm just going to pull it down so you guys can see what it looks like. Wet, but we're going to dry it tomorrow, just because I don't want to damage my hair any more than it's already. And we know that when you color your hair, you process your hair, you kind of damage it, right? You give it a little bit more texture, as they call it, texture, making it a little bit more fluffy, but technically it's just dehydrated. It's dry, it's porous, and that's what gives it more movement. Anyways, let's pull it down and see what it looks like. So just in the future, if you do use this, just kind of get like a water bottle and damp in your hair, not wet, just a little bit of damp before you pull it through. What it does, it dilutes the peroxide in here, and it makes it like, instead of a 20%, it makes it a 10%. And with that, it's still going to penetrate. It's just not going to damage your hair or dry it as much. Let's just pull it down and see what it looks like. Ooh. It does not feel super soft like I was saying, but it does look like it's going to be beautiful. Let's look at the gray. And it does look like we have 100% gray coverage. Look at that. Let's look on the other side. Yeah, wow. I think this is going to be a gorgeous color. I'm going to go ahead and put some gloss drops in it and let it naturally dry, and then I will heat it tomorrow straight so you can actually see like whether it's even or not, because you can't really tell that right now. Right now my roots could be so much lighter than my ends. We will not know until tomorrow. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so this is what the hair looks like under the studio lights. What do you think? What do you think? I will say that this color actually lifts to be super, super bright, because my roots are actually brighter than my ends. And maybe you can't tell in this lighting, but in the outdoor lighting, you kind of notice. You can see like it has a variation of reds because obviously down here I had color that was fading out, but so you can see the variation of reds. The roots turned out pretty darn bright. And look, so here's my gray. You can see my gray because some of my grays are wiry, like this one's sticking up in the air right there, right? So the grays turned out to be super bright red. Right here I have more gray. This is mostly gray. That's why this is actually much more bright than back here. This color turned out to be pretty darn awesome. If you're concerned about the area around here or your hairline being like really, really bright gray, that is because obviously it's going into a strand of hair that has no color. So it's going to be like that super bright, pure color that it says on the box. Don't worry, reds fade. I haven't come across any red besides maybe one that I found at Sally's Beauty Supply that really didn't fade. But after 1 or 2 fades, I know that this will fade. It won't be as bright. But what do you think of the color? Obviously, it's going to be different in different lighting. So I'm going to take you guys outside so you can see the different colors in different lighting. But it did cover my gray. It covered the gray 100%. Part it. You can see these little grays right here, and they're really not gray. It's just really, really, look, it's just really, really bright red. So these little strands that I just grabbed right now, you see that? Those little strands, those are my grays, and you can tell because they're super bright to the point you can see them at that distance. Look at that. But they look great. They're colored. They're not white. They're red. I think the color looks beautiful. Is it like the box? In the outdoor lighting, yes. In this lighting, you can see I almost look like I'm like an auburn, right? Like it looks darker. It doesn't look as crazy, but in some lightings, it's like that super, super red. Okay, I have you in the direct sun. See, look at this. Look at how much more red it looks in the direct sun. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? And it's all the way through. You can see. But totally different vibe, totally different look in the direct sun. Oh, but let me tell you the positives about this color. It did not burn. And I believe that's probably because it says zero ammonia. It deposited just like it colored the grays. It was very comfortable and it was not overwhelming in the smell. So if you're very sensitive to the smells or that intense that you can, that intensity that you feel when you color your hair, you don't feel it with this one, which is a plus. Look, just in my restroom lights, you can see the difference of the color. Look at that. You see? So would I recommend this color? Yes, totally. I love the versatility. I love how the color changes, whether it's hitting the light or not. Indoors, outdoors. I love that. I think the red is absolutely stunning and beautiful.